Welcome YouTube viewers. Today is a beautiful Saturday. What I'm doing today on a 1996 Mercedes C220 chassis W202. I've got a chunk from first to second gear, another chunk from second to third, and a more noticeable chunk from third to fourth gear coming from the transmission. I already know from doing a bunch of research both on YouTube and on bensworld.org that it's the same situation with the transmission 722.423, 722.423. It's vacuum actuated, and there's modulating pressure and there's controller pressure in there. The situation that I've got is I was doing some work yesterday on it, and what happened, and I hope everybody can see this, right down in here, I've got, on the number 3 intake runner, I've got a vacuum hose that connects with a U-shaped elbow to a nipple right off of there that provides vacuum to the transmission. You've got a line, which is, oh my gosh, it's so dark in here. I can barely see what I'm doing. Anyway, there is a line, a vacuum line, and if I can find that sucker, hang on a minute, let me get something that I need to get this done right. Okay, get a little bit more light always helps the situation. All right, so on these transmissions and on this chassis and this model, you have a vacuum line that attaches, where are you, line? That attaches right here to the number 3 intake runner. And if I can get this better positioned, I can get everybody to see this. But it is that line right there, right at the end of my finger. Okay, you've got a nipple that runs off of that intake runner, and then you've got a line, a vacuum line that runs and it is this white line right there, right at the end of my finger, if you can see that. Anyway, that line runs down into this tunnel, and it attaches to the transmission. I'm going to go under the car now, and I'm going to show you what you're going to be looking for. My setup is I've got both wheels up on jacks. I got these jacks from a private seller. I do trust them. They're well built. They are steel. It's not aluminum, so I'm more comfortable with steel. Anyway, my plan B, so that I don't end up with a crushed skull, is to put cinder blocks underneath right there. I'll zoom in on a little bit. There's been a lot of discussion on jack points on this W202 chassis, but I found that these are the best support points. It's all steel. It's all connected to the frame. So if those jack stands do collapse for any reason, I've got a plan B in place, and I'll still be able to make it to Monday morning after the end of this. Anyway, let's go around this. Okay, going around the side of the car here. And you're gonna need a little bit of height. I was really apprehensive about doing this in the first place because just because of limited space and mildly claustrophobic. So climbing around under 2 tons worth of steel and fluid isn't my first choice. First is the transmission pressure modulator. That is the animal that I'm going to try to find, and my research, it's going to be on the left side or the driver's side of the transmission, and it's up above the pan. And because this chassis is built the way that it is, there is such a limited amount of space in there. If you can see that, the distance between the width between the pan and this part of the subframe here is probably only, what, 3 inches, 2.5 inches. And I'm 6'2", about 205, so there's not a lot of room for my hands to go. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoot around in here. Bear with me a quick second. I'm going to grab some more light. What I'm looking for is right there. That is the vacuum line that I was just talking about. And where that needs to go is right in here. If I can get this puppy to focus a little bit. Let me get my camera. Okay, there we go. A lot better. So that gizmo with the collar and the handle, that's the correct positioning for that cap. Pointed down and to the left is the correct installation position. My issue from the research that I've done has said what you need to do is you need to turn it counterclockwise. So that's basically going to mean to the down position or down to the right, depending upon how much of an adjustment that you need to make. More information says that the more that you turn it, the smoother the shifts are, but also the faster the transmission runs out. This is the original transmission in the vehicle. It's been here since 1996. So if it blows up in another 2 to 3 years, it's probably time for a new transmission anyway. This car has over 200,000 miles on it, 201, some low change. So it won't surprise me. Anyway, the challenge right now is going to be to get this vacuum line first and foremost attached to the valve, the modulating valve right there, because it does work with vacuum pressure. So I'm going to need to do that first. I'm going to use combination of screwdrivers. It's been talked about, you need to drop the pan to get this done. I think I can get this vacuum line reattached, and I know I can get my finger up there enough. And if that collar is not too tight, then what I will be able to do is to adjust that collar a little bit down, completely down to the 6 o'clock position, or possibly over to the 5 o'clock position, and then smooth out those shifts. After that, I'm going to adjust the Bowden cable. So that is today's project. Hope this goes well. I'll post an update if that happens.